New Delhi is in fact at the center of a global travel conversation this week. Satte 2026 is one of the biggest gatherings of global travel industry. The three-day mega event has kick-started today at the Yashobhoomi International Convention and Expo Center, bringing together the world's most influential voices in tourism under one roof. But this year's theme and opportunity, called India, puts the spotlight firmly on India's rising global tourism footprint and also the business potential that the country represents for the world. Over 60 countries, 29 state tourism boards and 45,000 trade professionals are attending the tourism flagship event. A big focus will be on South Asia and regional travel. And our correspondent Johan Kastel and Kanishka Sarkar are on the ground getting you all the updates. Listen in.
Hello and welcome to Satte 2026, South Asia's leading travel and trade expo. This year's event is taking place here at Yashobhoomi in New Delhi. There are thousands of exhibitors here on the ground, and WION is the official television partner for this event. There are so many different tourism boards. We can see right here we have Uzbekistan. Right next to us we have Nepal with a big booth as well. Huge size for the Nepal booth this year at Satte. Let's take a look around and see what is the look and feel of this year's event right here on the ground in New Delhi. Here we have Bhutan's booth. It's a very colorful one with lots of outreach to both exhibitors, to buyers and sellers. We can also see Egypt right here with a quite cool design of their booth here at the expo. It's got a little bit of your Egyptian heritage and history vibe to it, with some pharaohs on display, a little bit like your pyramids or your ancient temples in Egypt. Of course, Egypt has been emerging in recent years as a quite solid tourism destination for Indians, and Egypt is betting big on the Indian market. So with Nepal, we can see here there are so many different stalls of travel and tour companies that are vying for attention and contacts from buyers, sellers and other exhibitors here at the event.
Well, India wants tourism to be more than just footfalls. It wants value, it wants scale and global competitiveness. And the man who's driving that shift, that strategic shift, is Mr. Suman Villa, who's the Director General and Additional Secretary at the Ministry of Tourism. And he's right here with us on WION Live, joining us to tell us what India's tourism landscape is going to look like.
So, Incredible India has done wonders for India, and I think that narrative, and I don't think looking at brand recall, everything else, we need to jettison Incredible India yet. But we need to understand that the context has changed significantly. Because when Incredible India was envisioned, India was a very little known tourism destination. So then we said this is what we're all about, etc. And it has served us exceptionally well. Today the context has changed, and in the sense, what is the context that we're talking about in India? India has civilizational depth that is unmatched by any other country, possibly Egypt, and there are a couple of other countries. And India is also a country which has done exceptionally well in high-tech, ultra-modern, we're an IT soft power. You just need to look around to see all of the development that we have done in the modern space. And possibly India is the only country where the ancient lives with the modern, and it is cheek by jowl. And I think it is that civilizational, it is that immersive aspect that we need to capture for people who come to India.
So like you rightly pointed out, India is ancient alongside modern, right? So any bottlenecks that we are facing, any structural missing link that you find that we need to close, is it infrastructure or any other link that you think is missing? Because we are 5.5% in terms of tourism when we talk about the contribution to GDP, and we aim at 10%. That's still lower than what Thailand would do, say 20% plus. So what is that structural missing link that you think we need to close?
So I think if you look at India, the tourism sector accounts for 5% of the GDP. The global average is close to 10%, and there is no reason why India should be doing less there. But the other figure which is probably more important for India is that tourism sector accounts for 89 crore jobs, which is over almost 13.5% of all employment in this country is accounted for the tourism sector. So if the sector expands, it gives India what it needs most, it creates jobs. But that is something that is fixable. But I think the most important thing that we need is management at the destinations. Because all across the world you have these destination management organizations which put on the thinking cap and say, if it is a low season, how do we work together with the industry, with the government to ensure that we have higher footfalls. If it is the high season, how do we sort of tamper the demand to ensure that the experience is good for the tourist and others, and how do we get events into the place, how do we organize sport. That whole ecosystem we need to start thinking about us. So I think from a paradigmatic change we need to stop looking at a destination as standalone which works on its own, but we need to start looking at it as an entire ecosystem which needs to put its act together. And I think that is probably the definitional change that we need to take at India going forward.